So today we're going to be making a great pesto to put over some rice pasta.
Okay, here are some of my herbs on my front porch that I use every day. You're looking straight ahead at mint, chocolate mint, which I make a tea out of it. Sometimes I put it in certain recipes, but I usually drink it. I dehydrate it and drink it. So I'm going to be dehydrating today, and I'm going to show you how I do that, and I'm going to show you the rest of my herbs over here. Okay, and on my front porch I have right here, I have onion chives, parsley, and I have garlic chives. So I'm going to be cutting these and bringing them in and dehydrating them. Okay, here on the back stoop I have we have sweet basil, and down here below we have a stevia plant, which we'll use to. It's a sweetener, it's a natural sweetener. It has no sugar in it. You can eat the leaves. Kids usually eat the leaves. They're sweet, but you could dehydrate them and you can put it in tea and coffee and recipes. So we're going to be dehydrating that today as well. And we have two other basils behind. We have a purple basil and a lime basil behind us, and we'll be bringing that in. And with the lime basil, we will. Okay, so we'll do that, and then we'll dehydrate it, and then after we dehydrate it, we'll come back and talk some more. Okay, I've bought in the chocolate mint, and I destemmed it. Okay, here's our stevia. We've destemmed it, and it's ready to be dehydrated. Uh, if you've never had stevia before, it's a great sugar substitute, especially if you're fighting diabetes and other chronic illnesses like overweight, hypertension. You may want to consider stevia. But this is raw stevia. The plant is very sweet, and you can use it too. We're going to dehydrate it and grind it up. And once it's dehydrated, you'll see what the finished product looks like. Okay, we're going to finish with, we're going to do basil next. Okay, on this tray I have purple basil and I have sweet basil that I destemmed, and I just have the leaves on here, and we're going to dehydrate this on that tray. Now with the lime basil, I let it go too much, so I had a lot of flowers. So when it gets a lot of flowers, you don't actually really use the flowers to make the pesto. You use the leaves get kind of really small. They're kind of small, so you use the leaves to make a pesto out of it, and then it'll come back. The plant will come back a little bit more bushier next time, and then I'll dehydrate the leaves for that basil too. But I got like the purple basil, which I've never used before, so I'm excited to see how that will taste dehydrated. It tastes pretty good fresh, and I'm using and I've used the sweet basil before. It is very good. I like to dehydrate because I make a lot of vegetable dishes. I use it in tofu, burgers, and other vegetarian dishes. And when you dehydrate it, brings out a different type of flavor. And sometimes I do use fresh, but I'm going to be, this segment that I'm coming up with, I'm using like dehydrated stuff. So we'll go to the onions and garlic chives. I'll put them on the same plate because I use those together, and then the last one will be the parsley. Okay, this is the onion and garlic chives. I use that always together. So, but if you don't want to use those together, you can dehydrate those on a separate tray. But I usually use those always all exclusively together, so it doesn't really make a difference. So it'll be an onion and garlic chive uh, uh, powder once it's dehydrated and blended up. And so the next thing I'm going to be washing and rinsing will be the parsley. Last but not least is the parsley. We washed it and cleaned it and put it on the dehydrating tray. We'll come back after this is all dehydrated and show you how we're going to use it in some yummy vegetarian and vegetable based dishes. Now I'm going to put the dehydrator top on, and as you can see, it's as I like the motor to be a top fitting motor, not the bottom one. It's a little bit more safety with it. It is a little bit loud, but this is good enough for what we're using for. We're not going to be in this room, so we won't really hear it. But they have all different types of dehydrators. But if you get one with a top motor, that's better. They have some in the side; those are better too. But you have a whole lot of different price points. So what you can probably find a pretty decent one at whatever price point you're looking for. But I find this to be a very good one, a very good starter one for just a small amount of dehydrating. If you're going to do a lot more dehydrating, they have some that has timers and different temperature controls. This has one temperature control, and I just usually dehydrate like lightweight stuff, nothing that's going to take more than overnight to do. So just shop around and see which one is best for you. And if you have any questions, you can always contact us about which dehydrated might be more appropriate for you, and we will try to help you to the best of our ability. Okay, so we'll come back and we'll see what and see how things look, and we'll get ready to use these ingredients in some fabulous vegetarian and plant-based dishes. Okay, now we're done dehydrating, so we're gonna take this off. It's pretty noisy, see? You can get one that's less noisy. It don't really bother us because you may not be in this room. And that's the parsley. We're gonna blend this up, and then we're gonna use it in parsley. We have the onions and chives. We have the sweet basil and the purple basil, and we have stevia, and we have the I forgot what that other one is, but we're gonna make ingredients. We're gonna make stuff out of all of those, and we'll get back with you in a few minutes and show you how we're gonna use these ingredients in some meatless vegetarian dishes. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Okay, last but not least, this is the chocolate mint. That was the one that I had forgotten, and we're gonna make a tea with that. And this is the last one. We're gonna use the grinder to grind it up, and we're gonna use all of these herbs that I grew right on my front porch to make some nice dishes and drinks. Mostly will be either vegan or vegetarian dishes. Okay, we're boiling the water for our pasta. This is a gluten-free pasta because some of the people in this household cannot handle wheat. So we're using a gluten-free pasta. It's made with rice and brown rice flour. And we're going to boil that, and we're going to use the pesto that we made yesterday from the basil, the sweet basil leaves, and the lime basil leaves. We made it to a pesto, and we put it in the refrigerator overnight, and we're going to be adding a few more herbs and that we dehydrated overnight. We're going to be putting a few more of those in there, and we're going to saute an onion and put it in there along with some Parmesan cheese in the pesto. But first, let's get this spaghetti in the water. So we're going to use the whole box. This gluten-free. It's pretty. It's not that expensive, but it's a little bit more than the other pasta. You can use whatever pasta you have on hand. If you don't have a gluten or a wheat problem, you can just use whatever pasta you want. But this is for because we can't have the wheat and all of the gluten in the other products. So we're gonna let that boil, and we'll come back when that's done. Okay, here we're sauteing our onions right now. We like to use red onions, but we're going to use the dehydrated onions, chives, and the garlic chives. We're going to use that, and we're going to use a little parsley. We're going to use a little celery that we had made up from before. That is our pasta timer. The pasta is coming to an end, and we need to strain it in a minute. But before we get to that, I want to just tell you about the salt that we use. We use a Celtic salt like this. It's because it's a whole salt. It's a salt that has magnesium and potassium in it, and it helps to actually regulate the blood pressure a little bit better. You still can't have a lot of this salt, just like the table salt. It is a little thicker, and it's not free-flowing as the regular salt. The regular table salt that you see, they bleach it and they make it, it's refined, so they strip some of the minerals out of it. This salt has a few more minerals in it that helps regulate things in your body. Doctors have been recommending this since the 70s, the Celtic salt. And we also use the Himalayan salt. These are the salts that they used probably in the Bible, not the table salt that we have today. But you still have to be careful of how much salt you use. We recommend use salt to taste, but to do it, on the low end side. You don't need that much of this salt because it seems to be a little bit more saltier than the regular salt. The flavors, it's just, to me, it's more flavorful. So we use this salt, the Celtic salt, and we also use the pink Himalayan salt. The pink Himalayan salt, this particular kind that we buy, it's more free-flowing, like the regular table salt. But the Celtic salt is better for your health overall. But you don't need to use a lot. You need to use just as little as was recommended on the package and by your physician. We'll put all of the recipes that we're doing today, we'll put it on the website. Everything is to taste, so however much herbs and spices you want to use to taste, that's how you go with it. It's for your own particular taste buds. So we're going to get these onions ready, and we're going to strain this pasta, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up our meal for today. Now, I just took the pesto that we let sit overnight in the refrigerator, and I just put I just sauteed a red onion. We put that in there, and we're going to put a pinch of the onion and chives that we just dehydrated, freshly dehydrated yesterday, and I just blend it up now. We put that in there, a pinch, and like I said, it's whatever you like, however much you like the taste. I do like a lot of basil, so I tend to put like a little bit more in there, but like I said, the pesto already has basil in it, so we're not going to put any additional basil in there. We are going to put a little bit of parsley, and we're going to put these celery flakes in there. I love celery. I'm going to have to get some. I don't have any growing in my yard, but I'm going to have to get some organic from the farmer's market, and I will dehydrate it as soon as they have some available. I've just used the last that I've had dehydrated, and I'm going to put a little bit of parsley flakes in there. So we're going to blend that up, and when we come back, we'll show you how our dish looks. And also, I forgot to mention, we're going to put in about a half a cup of Parmesan cheese in this pesto. So it's going to be a very, very nice dish. Okay, fellas, this is our dish, our final dish, and this is our dinner for tonight, and we'll be back to make a tea later on this evening, and the first thing tomorrow morning we will be making tofu burgers. So until then, we'll see you later. Enjoy.